I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy.
A tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
What are we drinking for this learning journey, Hayley?
I have a White Claw. I'm still making my way through the box of White Claws that I bought in June. And it's literally Halloween.
That's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on.
Well, the thing is not that I haven't been drinking. It's that I've been drinking wine instead of White Claw.
That makes sense. I feel like White Claw is not something you drink at home while you're cooking dinner. Like,
absolutely
it is
not.
like something strictly for before you go out.
Yeah, and we never go out.
Never.
So...
Why would you?
I have a mango White Claw. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking water out of a paper coffee cup because I came straight here from work and didn't have a chance to grab a drink.
Spicy. You should have told me. I could have grabbed you another White Claw. I have one here still. It's up for grabs. Tangerine.
You can have it. You can have it. Although I am ashamed that this is our Halloween episode and I'm not drinking anything spooky. Last year we wore witch hats. Actually, that was probably 2 years ago.
It was. Tommy texted me today and was like, you guys, are you going to do 2-year pins for your patrons? And I was like, 2 years? That was in March, our 2-year anniversary of the podcast.
Yes. We've done this way too long.
We're so old. We're about to pop though, guys.
It's crazy. And like time goes by so fast. You were just telling me before we started that it's time for our next cocktail hour. And I literally thought that we did one last week.
I know. We're filling up our time with so many fun things that it actually makes time fly, I think is what's happening.
It really does. I am so freaking busy all the time. It's disgusting.
What happened? Like all of a sudden we're doing things when for the past year and a half, 2 years, we've been sitting at home doing nothing.
I know. And it might be that just like the contrast makes it feel like I'm doing a lot of things when I'm not really. But I think I'm doing a lot of things. Like
we are doing so many things. We're doing trivia, this podcast. We're doing cocktail hour, which I love. But you know, it's a thing that we do.
It's a thing, and I go to the barn a lot, and I'm about to be going a lot more because I have a new son. And he's a horse.
I'm so excited. You've unlocked like gold horse girl achievement number one.
It's weird because it's something that I'm insanely excited about. I'm signing the papers tomorrow, but at the same time highly embarrassed of.
You're embarrassed of it.
I feel like to own a horse, you have to be weird. And now I'm officially part of the weirdo club.
That's not true.
To own a horse, you have to be rich.
Which I'm also not. Nobody tell my mom about this, please. And Mom, if you're listening,
she's lying.
He's free and and I don't have to pay anything.
The thing though is that we forget how rich we truly are in America. We have running water, we have electricity, we have hot water. We don't have to deworm.
As you learned yesterday.
As I'm literally about to deworm myself.
Well, thank you, Hayley, for putting everything in perspective.
You're welcome. So now when I say eat the rich now, you're who I'm talking about because you not only have all of those things, but you are about to own a horse.
It's like I couldn't get any more cats because our apartment is too small. So I had to get an animal that lives outside the home.
I think you nailed it.
I think so. Honestly, Mom, really, if you are listening, it's not as much as you think it is, and I've made a budget, and I can afford this, I think.
You just start crying.
If I can't, his owner agreed to take him back at any time.
Yeah, after you declare bankruptcy. I declare bankruptcy.
Donate to us on Patreon at patreon.com/nightclassy, and not only can you support this horrible decision that I've made, but also you can come to our cocktail hour.
You can send horse pics, too. To Patreon.
You can, if you have a horse, join our Patreon.
No, I'm saying
pics.
That can be the incentive. You get horse pics uploaded.
Okay, yeah. I can do that. Right now.
Little
I'll
perk.
post some pics. His name is Duke. He's a buckskin. If you've ever seen Spirit, That's what he looks like.
Can you paint on horses, like animal safe paint?
Yeah.
We could get like a little, like do a night classy thing and like take pictures with him.
Oh my God, that would be so cute.
Okay,
I'm like,
we're gonna do
brand
it.
him
And I was brand him. Oh my God.
with night classy.
Yeah, we have like a little moon brand, a little wine glass.
Oh.
We're kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I would never. But yeah, so that was my bad decision of the week.
I think it's a great decision. I think you knew in your gut that you could not say no.
I mean, like I joked that he was free, but he is being given to me for free. The only reason I said yes is because I was scared he'd be moved to a different facility if I didn't take him, and I love him.
Yeah.
And like I said, board in Mississippi is not that expensive. I think I can handle it. And his owner owns the barn and said that I can, if it doesn't work out, I can give him back to her and she'll take good care of him. So
The universe works in mysterious ways.
It does.
This is a good decision. I'm proud of you.
I'm excited.
Just be confident. Like we said,
Yeah.
you got some cute accessories for Duke as well.
Yeah, I was telling Hayley how embarrassed I am that I bought like a Barbie pink saddle pad, but I feel like I'm living my childhood dream right now. And in order to live my childhood dream to the fullest, I need to have the color of equipment that I would have wanted as a 6-year-old, which is a Barbie pink saddle pad.
You're working through trauma.
I am. I'm healing my inner child
I love
with
it.
this terrible financial decision.
I wonder what I guess I would go live with the Amish to heal my inner child because I was always doing,
You could have a
Pioneer
horse with
woman
the
shit.
Amish.
I could.
You could till your fields.
God. Really, what I want to do is make butter.
You could do that.
I just love butter so much.
Me too. We should make butter.
It's very easy.
Yeah,
Very
don't you
easy
just
to
like
do.
put cream in a bag and shake it?
Yeah. Shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Why don't we make butter more often? We're not living life to the fullest.
get those muscles? Just
That's true. I guess I'm not strong enough to shake butter.
well, you'll get strong doing it.
That's true. That could be my exercise. And then the reward for exercising is
the
eating a bag of butter.
You break even. It just makes sense.
I ate sourdough bread with butter on it for breakfast today. And it
Yum.
made my day good.
Speaking of Amish, I got apple butter from Amish in Indiana, which is where I got you guys. I don't know if you ate it, but I got some like pumpkin roll things.
Yeah,
I
we
think
did
they were.
eat those. We brought them to the Og House and everyone loved them.
Oh
They
my
were made
God.
by Amish people.
We destroyed those.
Yeah,
they
they
were
were
so good.
really good. I didn't know they were made by the Amish.
Yeah, there's this coffee shop that I guess the Amish bring in their goods or something, or maybe
Cool.
they're like breaking Amish. I don't know. But it was very good.
Did you ever watch that show?
Yes,
I loved that show.
On the Night Classy TikTok we get in our algorithm, we get so much of the breaking Amish TikTok clips. Yeah.
I've never seen one.
Oh my God. I feel like every time I'm on TikTok, the girl is like at Walmart being like, that's so weird. at whatever it is, just literally anything in Walmart.
Did
Or
they
she'll be
make
like,
more than one season?
I don't know.
Because I think I've only seen the one season, and there was like that one like brunette girl who like went off the deep end. Do you remember that? If you don't know what we're talking about, look up Breaking Amish right
So
now
good.
and watch every episode.
I need to go through and actually watch it. I've just seen here and there. But I think they have made more episodes.
Good.
Yes.
Is it on
very
TLC?
interesting. I think so. Seems
Yeah.
like a TLC type show.
All the best shows are on TLC.
Yeah, I used to think that when I was a kid that TLC was super respectable. It was like
It's the teaching and learning channel.
yeah, I thought it was wholesome. No, absolutely not.
No, but I fuck hard with TLC. Say Yes to the Dress,
yeah.
90 Day Fiance.
Four weddings.
Four
Four
weddings. Oh,
weddings.
so good. So
The
good.
peak of just judging for a reality show. It's wonderful.
Imagine having people at your wedding solely there to judge you, and they rate you low because they want you to lose.
That's why people go to weddings, is it not?
That's true. I'm that person.
Yes.
But I don't do it openly. I
no,
hide my
not
judgment.
openly. Yeah, I store it away in my mind and I'm like, ooh, I would do that, or I would not do that at my own wedding. And there's only so many weddings I've been to, so.
Which, speaking of weddings, congratulations to our former roommates, Kelly and Clint.
Oh my God. Yes, they got engaged.
Yeah.
And you guys were there.
We were there. It was awesome. Alec and I hid behind the duck house at the top of the Peabody Hotel and then jumped out with cameras and
The pictures
paparazzi'd.
are literally gorgeous. They sent them in the group chat. I literally shed a tear at the gym. Like, I am on the elliptical
Kelly didn't
crying.
even cry, and you cried.
I cried. They're just so beautiful. I'm like tearing up right now. It's so crazy to watch someone's relationship form, and now they're vowing their lives to each other.
I know. She really is tearing up, you guys. It's very exciting for everyone, especially Hayley.
I don't know why it's so exciting for me and not everyone else, including
I was
the
touched
bride
too.
to
I don't
be.
remember when I've seen someone that ecstatic in my life.
Yeah, she's so cute. And
Yeah.
Clint's like, yeah.
Yeah, they're really happy. So that's exciting. And I feel like we touched on our next cocktail hour, but then we got distracted.
As we do.
Do you want to tell us when that is?
Yes. So, as always, it is the first Friday of every single month. So that is our next one, lands on Friday, November 4th. I can't believe it's already November. It is always at 7 p.m. Central Time. Last time we mentioned this, we talked about our little special drink that we always pick out. You don't have to drink. You can bring a drink. It can be a different drink, but the drink we will be drinking is malt wine with some cider.
Yes.
And this time we're not going to cook the alcohol out of the wine.
But you can if you want to. When I was little and my mom would make mulled wine, she would cook the alcohol out so the kids could have a glass.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you want to, and it's my own recipe, which I will post on our Patreon. So if you want access to that and access to our Zoom cocktail hour on November 4th, you can join Patreon at any level at patreon.com/nightclassy and support the show and my new son, Duke.
your third son now. I when you texted me that you're getting him, I was almost like, oh my gosh, you're a fur baby mom. And I was like, no, she has 3 other pets.
I know.
already.
That's my coworker said the same thing. She's like, "Oh my God, you're going to be a mom tomorrow." And I was like, honey, little do you know, I'm an animal hoarder. This is nothing new.
You just had to escalate to horses because you can't really hoard horses at this point in your life.
Don't try me.
Oh my God, you're going to be like, I got a new job. I'm the CEO of Nestle, so I can have all of the horses that I want now.
It does make me think of that episode you did on someone was like embezzling. Was that you or was this a different podcast? And like I think it might have been Wine and Crime actually. When people embezzle, like a lot of times they'll buy horses. That's like a sign that someone's stealing from their company.
For you, it would just be you fulfilling your dreams.
Yeah. Duke is not a child of embezzlement, but if you see me buy a few more horses, you should get worried.
Yeah,
I'm stealing from all our night classy dollars, all our hundreds.
Money to embezzle. That would be crazy.
Yeah. We don't. So donate to us on Patreon so that I can embezzle and buy some horses.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll buy, but I'm sure I'll find something good.
Yeah, you start brainstorming.
I'm gonna get like really fine artisan butter. I think that'll be my niche, and I'll start learning how to make bread for real.
We can get a couple of mares, female horses, and
Horse
milk them and make butter.
Oh my God, no. Absolutely not.
This is the Horse and Butter podcast.
Why don't we drink horse milk? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know why, but I've never thought about horses producing milk until this very moment.
Every mammal does.
I know that, but I've just never wanted to think about it, and you ruined that for me.
What's another animal we could milk? You want some panda milk?
No,
We can get you
I don't think
some.
I want any animal milk.
Some tiger milk?
Breast milk. Give me breast milk butter.
Human breast milk.
Yeah, let me get my immune system right.
Yeah, where's Dr. Dicey when we need her? Call her up. I haven't heard from her in a while.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Well, I think
look out
that's
for the
enough
butter and the
of
horses.
that. I'm not drinking anything, so Hayley didn't even bother to breathalyze.
It's probably through the roof. Just kidding. I had so much sushi before this recording. My pants
so
are literally
jealous.
unbuttoned and slightly unzipped because I'm busted out. But that's okay. It was very good. Okay, let me catch my breath. Are we ready for my
Yes.
learning journey? The year is 1845. Émilie Sagée, a 32-year-old teacher, just started working in her new position at a French language private girls' school, Penissoa van Nieuwelke,
Nailed it.
in Latvia. Thank you. Emily was probably hoping that this would be a permanent position for years and years to come, but she also probably didn't want to get her hopes up at the same time. She started teaching when she was 16 years old, and from the time she was 16 until she was 32 at this new position, she had to switch jobs 19 times.
Oh, good Lord. Does that just mean like switch grade levels?
No, she had to switch schools and areas completely to get ahead of some rumors.
Oh, no.
The odd thing was, though, that she was a wonderful teacher. Everyone loved her. She was great at her job. And each time that she was let go, her boss wrote her a glowing letter of recommendation for as how she did her job. And the first few weeks at her new school were normal. In fact, she was pleasantly surprised by how the girls at this school accepted her and really started like clinging to her, because these girls a lot of them were of noble blood, extremely wealthy families sent their daughters to this school. So she kind of expected them to turn their noses up at her, but they liked her a lot. So she won over the cool girls. And everything was fine for this first couple weeks. But within the first quarter of school, things started to get weird. At first, it was just a simple case of someone asking where Emily was. And then two students would pipe up an answer and say, oh, I saw her here, and then, oh, I saw her there. But the two students were citing completely different areas of the school, saying that they had just seen her there.
Is she a ghost?
I don't know.
What the fuck? When was this?
1845.
Okay.
This happened several times, but it was really just dismissed as child's play by the other governesses. And one day, while lecturing a class of 13 students, Emily went up to write on the blackboard. And the girls saw a twin to Emily materialize before their eyes. She looked exactly the same as the human Emily. She even imitated her movements as she was writing on the chalkboard, except for this twin didn't have any chalk in her hand.
What the hell? This is so creepy. I've never heard of anything like this.
All 13 girls told the same story about the event, but the doppelganger wasn't always mimicking Emily's actions. Sometimes Emily would rise from her chair, and the doppelganger would be still sitting in the chair. The double could also be seen standing behind Emily's chair at the dining table while she was eating, and it would mimic her eating, but just didn't have any silverware or food in her hands.
Was it like opaque? Did it look like a human or?
Yeah, it looked exactly like her, but it wasn't.
What the fuck? Could she have like a weird twin who follows her around?
Some people think that it was a twin. One time while helping a pupil fasten a gown for a ball, the girl looked behind her in the mirror and saw the two Emilys were doing up the dress together. And the girl just straight up passed out.
This is giving me, what was that Jordan Peele movie? I
don't know.
And everyone had like a twin underground. What was that called? That movie was scary.
I don't remember, but I
Us?
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came up in my research.
Oh, okay.
I don't
you
talk
seen it?
about it, but I haven't seen it. Mm-mm.
You have to watch it. It's so good.
This will probably share some common themes.
Okay.
This lesson will. So eventually, her doppelganger was almost always with her. But Emily could not see it herself, but she was made aware of it. She could always tell when it was around based on other people's reactions, them being like, what the fuck?
So she couldn't see it?
She couldn't see it. If others weren't around to do double takes or give her weird looks, then Emily would get a clue when her energy levels suddenly plummeted. People attested that when her doppelganger was around, Emily's face would also drain of color and her movements started to lag.
Oh my God. Do you think maybe she was astral projecting by accident?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so, but maybe.
Okay.
That is another theory. One day, all 42 students witnessed Emily's doppelganger at once. There was a different governess teaching. They're all in this sewing class. And a governess is teaching. Emily was seen out in the garden, and she's picking flowers. The teaching governess temporarily left the room. She got up out of her chair. They see her leave, and then they look back to the chair that the governess was sitting in, and there's Emily sitting in the same chair, while she's also outside picking flowers.
Are we sure this isn't a movie? It's also idyllic. They're making a ball gown. They're in sewing class. She's picking flowers, and then there's a ghost woman.
We'll get to that as well.
Okay.
But when she's outside picking flowers, she's now moving very groggily and slowly.
This isn't real.
What? It's documented. It's in a book.
Okay.
It's in a book.
What book?
I will tell you in a moment. We're not sure if it's true or not, but you need to just suspend your disbelief.
Okay.
I love that this is what it took, the idyllic.
Well, I've been thinking it's not real this whole time, obviously, but it's become too much.
A little, yeah. I almost left out the ball gown part because I was like, that's almost too far.
What got actually, it was the picking of the flowers that really got me. But
this is the thing. This is the actual final straw.
It sounds like men writing women. What do they do at an all-girls school? Make ball gowns, sew, and pick flowers.
Yep. I mean, that sums it up.
Yeah.
Oh, they have to cook too.
Oh, that
they
too.
Can't not be cooking.
I mean, obviously.
Her doppelganger somewhere is in the kitchen.
What are they going to do? Math? No.
No. Science?
No.
Please. Science hasn't even been invented yet. It's 1845 for Jesus. Okay. Anywho, so they see her outside. She's picking flowers. She's also in this chair. Two girls decide to go up to the apparition in the chair and try to touch it. And when they do, the fingers don't go through it like they expected it would. They were actually met with a soft fabric-like resistance.
Oh my God, it's ectoplasm.
Yeah.
No.
It's just wet pasty toilet paper.
Yeah, it's gauze that someone put up their nose and pulled out.
It's all snotty. The other girl walked through a portion of the apparition to get up there in the first place. So this doppelganger continues to show up at the school. And once again, Emily is let go from this new position because of the doppelganger.
That's not fair.
Well, student enrollment plummeted. Because all the girls would go home and tell their parents about this doppelganger. And so they didn't want their daughters going there.
I guess, but she's not hurting anyone.
She's not. And when asked about her doppelganger, Emily had no explanation. She's like, yeah, I mean, you guys say that they're there. I have no control over her. I just feel like I'm at a loss. So Emily went to live with her sister, and she tutored her sister's daughters and sons who enjoyed their two Aunt Emilys.
What the fuck?
It's tough to say whether Emily existed at all.
Is it?
Basically, all the sources that cite anything about her all lead back to one book published in the 1860s by Robert Dale Owen called Footfalls on the Boundary of Another World, which is a very pleasant sounding book. I like the title a lot.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Yeah. And it chronicles Emily's experience, apparently recounted by a previous student. So, like I said, we're suspending our disbelief because the mythology of doppelgangers is mystifying.
This is a good Halloween topic.
Thank you.
Good job. Hats off.
In German, doppelganger means double goer or double walker, or spirit doubles. Officially, a doppelganger refers to a spirit or apparition that casts no shadows and is an exact replica of a living person. Mystics throughout the ages believe they're supernatural creatures, some simply being spiritual copies of the person, others being demonic twins. Usually you cannot see your own doppelganger. So that's why Emily couldn't see hers. Mm-hmm.
That's good, because that would be really scary.
Yeah, I would probably have an immediate heart attack. That
Although,
would be the end.
have you ever wanted to see yourself?
How other people see
yeah.
you? Yes. Yes and no.
Yeah. But it's like, have you ever like watched a video of yourself like from the side where you're not looking at the camera? It is interesting.
Yeah, you're like, who is that?
Don't look how I thought I looked.
Yeah, it's
not a good
somehow
angle.
like soul crushing a little bit. It's shocking. Only your loved ones, family, friends, or just people that you're around can see your doppelganger. And if they do, it's said to signify impending illness or danger for you. But if you do see your own doppelganger, it's thought to be an omen of death. Yeah, so it's not good news. If you do see a doppelganger, get to the hospital, I guess, or try and complete some shit on your bucket list. We'll get to some famous doppelganger cases in a little bit. But the mythology of spirit doubles is not new. It can be traced back thousands of years across cultures and geography. And in some doppelganger accounts, the double spirit actually tries to advise the real person, but oftentimes it's misleading or malicious. So that's where we get the evil double twin. And they're known to try and plant sinister ideas in one's mind or confuse them. And for this reason, it's best just to not engage with the doppelganger at all.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
You just don't talk to her. If your teacher gets up and your other teacher's governess is in the chair, don't touch her ectoplasm.
No, don't do that. It's raw eggs.
This is why girls can't have science. It's because you guys keep touching the apparition. Okay. There's a painting called How They Met Themselves. I actually put it in the slides. We can post it to Instagram. It is from 1864, so around the same time of this Emily story, by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. And this depicts a tale of doppelgangers. Basically, there's two lovers strolling through the forest. They meet their doppelgangers, who's basically mirroring them. And they're glowing supernaturally. Upon seeing her doppelganger, her and his doppelganger, the man draws his sword and his lover collapses.
He stabbed her?
No, he didn't stab her. She just died? She had like a heart attack.
Oh, no.
And died. Yeah.
Because of her doppelganger or the
Because
sword?
of her doppelganger. Maybe the sword. I don't know. Maybe he drew it too fast. Who's to say?
I don't know what I'd be more scared of.
Maybe
my
both.
doppelganger or the sword.
Okay, swords are so scary.
Swords are sharp. What's my doppelganger going to do? Look at me? Look like me?
They're going to dodge. They're just going to look at themselves as you like cut through them and they're like,
Yeah.
Whatever. I've been cut before. There are also ancient doubles. Possibly the earliest references may be, and I did not look up pronunciation, obviously. I'm sorry, y'all. But the earliest references may be in the Zurvanite branch of Zoroastrianism. Quote, this sect distilled the general abstract duality of Zoroastrianism into a concept of manifest twins born of a monist time. So it's that classic idea of there's good and there's evil. That's what doppelgangers were to this ancient sect. In ancient Egypt mythology, there is a Ka, which is a tangible spirit double, which holds the same memories and the same feelings as their human counterpart, and just
hangs
goes
out.
around, just hangs out.
Where does it live?
I think just
with you?
around, with you.
Oh.
In Norse folklore, they describe these entities as Vardogers. These are ghostly beings that exist before their counterpart. So this is kind of like deja vu, but in reverse. The Vardoger takes place in life and activities before the human does, often leading people to believe that they've already seen you or interacted with you before you actually arrive.
So it's like the little test run.
Yeah, they got
It tastes it.
I wish I could just send my doppelganger to go to work for me.
Oh my God, me too.
For at least like the first 2 hours of the day. So I can sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, I like my job. I just don't like getting to work at 7.
Yeah, if I could get there at 9 or 10 even would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do a little 10 to 5. That could be
That'd
fun.
be all right. Yeah.
Even 10 to 2 might be better if I'm getting picky.
Yeah, you don't want to hit that afternoon slump at work.
Absolutely not.
Get
2
there,
o'clock.
eat a late breakfast, some brunch.
Little brunchy.
Yeah, do a couple hours of work and go home.
I think that would be the best because that's still 4 hours that you're at work.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the amount of work that people get done during the actual 8-hour workday.
Most people.
Most people, teaching, you have to be on all the time.
A little different.
But most people are not working 8 hours through and through.
That would be nice.
One of my coworkers came up to me today and it was towards the end of the day. She was like, "Are you busy?" And I was like, "Oh, no." I told her, I was like, "I'm just taking a little breaky break."
Little break.
She was like, "Oh my God, I've taken so many breaks today too." I'm like, it is nice being able to take a break.
Yeah, I hate you. I hate you.
And if my boss or anyone who knows me is listening, I did do a working lunch. So technically it was my lunch break.
Yeah. You just, you gotta take, listen, this is what you have to do. Take your lunch, but don't eat. And then it'll feel like a break. And then eat while you're working and it'll feel less like work because you're also eating.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
And then you can also just look annoyed all the time so that people think that you're working.
Yeah. Act really stressed.
Yes.
Even if you're not. And like type furiously on your computer. And people are
like goo goo gaga.
Yeah, what are you typing? And it's just absolutely nothing. You're like you're on one of those like games that teaches you how to type and you're just like typing, "The dog went to the park with."
Oh my God. You're on Club Penguin. You're on Microsoft Paint, which I don't even think is a thing anymore at all.
You're making word art in PowerPoint.
Your computer's not even on.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, no. The screen is black because I have one of those privacy screens."
Yeah, it's
you wouldn't get it. You don't. Yeah. So basically, at the end of the day, if you're listening right now and you work with me, no, you don't. Okay. So this next section here has a deep dive that I just thought was so interesting. It's not exactly doppelgangers, but it kind of is.
You don't have to explain yourself.
Okay. Good. Ignore that then.
I will.
So people from Orkney Islands in Scotland, a lot of them used to fear, or maybe they still do, a small fairy-like creature called trolls. People, or pregnant women, were carefully guarded from trolls as these creatures have a bad habit of stealing human babies. Not only do they steal human babies, but the trolls also give birth themselves. And when they give birth, their offspring are often very sickly and disgusting. There is a picture. So the trolls bring their sick offspring and they steal the human babies and replace the humans with their sickly offspring.
Yeah, it's just like a demon baby. It has devil horns.
Yeah,
and the good baby has a halo. Yeah. They made it very clear in this image who the good baby is and who the bad baby is.
I think all the babies are scary.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Obviously the tro is like it's like a man demon with scary bat wings and horns.
Yeah, it's like a gargoyle.
Yes, it is. It's exactly a gargoyle. And I don't know why the baby's like feet in the blanket wrapped up are red.
Yeah.
It's an odd detail.
That is weird. Maybe, I don't know. They look like half-used tampons. They're like swaddled in white with a red tip.
That's nasty. Ooh, it's like a... Never mind.
Don't say it.
I want to say it's so
Don't do it.
bad.
I don't even
you
know
It's
what
not
it
going to
is.
serve you. I think I know.
Okay. Anywho. So they steal the babies, and they want the human babies for a multitude of reasons. They typically use them to act as servants, also to experience the love of a human child, which I guess they could not get from their own beings, and also for malice. For whatever reason, maybe they torture them or eat them. We don't really know. So in medieval Scandinavia, for example, it was believed that some trolls and these trolls considered it more respectable to be raised by humans than by their own kind. So they were basically just like sending their own kids off to boarding school.
Yeah.
It was
That's
a transfer program.
It's like, going to school overseas and getting a fun accent.
And the crazy thing, too, is that when they replace the kids, the troll baby transforms to look like a human baby. So the humans never really even know. It's, no harm, no foul.
I'm going to assume my baby is a troll if I ever have one, just to be safe.
For sure. And, it could also not be a troll baby, because there have been cases where elderly fairies were exchanged for the human baby. And the reason why is it's kind of like sending them to a nursing home. It's so that the senior fairy could live the rest of its life in comfort and be coddled.
Nice. But then does the baby have to go into the old body?
No, the old body is just like basically masked. It's charmed to look like a human baby. And it's like when you touch it, it's small.
So why don't they just charm it to be younger, but the same thing?
You can't charm it to be young. It's just a mask. It's like when I put on makeup, it's not like I don't have acne anymore.
Okay.
It's a mask.
I don't understand.
I don't know what else to say.
So they like still feel old.
They still feel old. Yeah, it's like before they die, they'll at least get some time to rest. And
I don't think I'd want to be a baby though.
I don't know.
Sounds
if you're
pretty
like about
bad.
to check out, you might as well get some breast milk and be coddled.
That's what I want. Breast milk.
I don't know. I've never talked about breast milk more than I have right
I know.
now.
What's wrong with us?
I don't know.
This is terrible.
You brought up horse milk, and then I started thinking about other animals.
What would you rather drink, horse milk or human milk?
Human milk.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'd rather drink horse milk.
I don't know. It's like I've had human milk before.
That's
like
true.
25 years ago.
That's true.
Might as well double back.
I guess you're right about that.
Horse milk just seems scary.
Horse milk
know.
seems more similar to cow milk, though, which I'm more familiar with.
Speaking of cow milk, Tommy and I went on an hour-long journey last night to find fast food ice cream.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. We went to multiple McDonald's. We finally ended up at Chick-fil-A, which obviously we don't support their morals.
They always have ice cream, though.
They always have ice cream. They're not soft serve, though.
What?
No one had soft serve. We had to get milkshakes.
That's crazy.
I know.
Did you try Arby's? I feel like they usually have it.
No, I forget Arby's even exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy. We were gone for an hour.
That's happened to Alec and I before. We really wanted an M&M Blizzard because I had a dream about one, and all the McDonald's didn't have ice cream.
So sad.
Yeah, it's not fair.
That's what I wanted. I wanted an Oreo McFlurry though, and he wanted the soft serve. So
bummer.
We
Sorry
settled.
about that.
Yeah, thank you for that. All right, so back onto these troll babies. They're known as changelings. So these changeling tales support other historical evidence suggesting that infanticide was frequently the solution selected for families struggling to support their families. Because of this tale and families who believed in this, they'd be like, I think my baby, who is also draining our resources and making it really hard to live and not helping us support anyone else, I think they are a demon, actually masked as my baby. So
Yeah, they're like, shuffle off to the side. Yeah, that's a very sad reality, though.
Mm-hmm. You're looking at your baby, and a lot of babies just look old anyway. You're like, what are you?
Yeah.
And then postpartum depression, I'm sure, does not help that.
No,
at all.
and I mean, lack of like preventative birth control. And,
this is like
it's a
medieval
recipe
times.
for,
So.
Yeah, sad.
So it was not only the elderly, it was not only newborn troll babies, but they also exchanged them with adult humans as well, particularly newlyweds and new mothers. Young adults, human adults, were forced to marry fairies, these troll fairies, instead of their human counterparts. And the new human mothers were forced to nurse the fairy babies.
Okay.
So, creepy detail. And when an adult was taken, the fairies would leave an inanimate object in its place and sometimes just charm that to make it as the human. If they were just going to swap it out, but they didn't have one of the like troll offsprings to give, they just needed a human for their breast
your
milk.
baby could really be like a candlestick.
Exactly. But the thing was that when they made inanimate objects charmed like a candlestick, it would become sick and die shortly thereafter.
Okay.
And there's a famous case of this. Bridget Cleary, an Irish woman, was murdered by her husband and burned immediately after because her family suspected that she, the real Bridget, was stolen by fairies, and they would, if they killed off this fake Bridget, then the fairies would have to return the real Bridget once they got rid of her doppelganger.
Oh my God. When did that happen?
Like in the 1800s, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we're coming to an end of this little rabbit hole that I went down.
Fun little side quest.
Changelings. So as I said before, they transform into exact replicas and become doppelgangers, essentially, for the stolen children. And before transforming, a changeling can be identified by a few traits. They don't grow, so they're very small, obviously, but they have these really long beards and long teeth.
What?
Long teeth.
What?
Yes.
Like a walrus?
Like a walrus, but like all of them. And I don't think they're sharp either. Like, I think they're just normal teeth,
long teeth,
but they're just long, which I think is worse.
How long are we talking?
I don't know. It did not get specific, but I'm thinking like long, but not too long.
Yeah,
I didn't see any pictures.
It could be a real person.
Yeah.
Ew.
They also have advanced intelligence and insight as well as wisdom, and they're known to jump and dance about when they think they're alone.
Ew.
Yeah. Are you scared yet?
Yes.
So let's get into the science behind doppelgangers, and then I'll wrap up here with some fun stories, okay? So scientists say, some of them say, that these are just hallucinations classified as autoscopic phenomena. Auto meaning self, scopio meaning looking at, and autoscopic phenomena. I think everyone has experienced this type. It's like the sensation of when you feel like someone is near you or has walked up near you and you haven't actually seen them with your eyes, but you can just sense that someone is there.
Yeah.
So you're sensing a double, they say. The doppelganger effect is the same sensation, but it's also paired with visual hallucinations. So people experiencing their doppelganger are hallucinating a second version of themselves. Some scientists say.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. At the end of the day, the autoscopic phenomena comes down to malfunctions in the brain. And there are, of course, cases of this, but also visual hallucinations are pretty rare compared to other like auditory hallucinations.
Yeah.
Those are much more common. And, if you have someone who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia, for example, they're much more likely to experience auditory hallucinations before they ever do visual.
Right.
So there's that. Now, paranormal investigator Lee Roberts believes doppelgangers are evil twins, or he believes that the idea of doppelgangers as evil twins is an outdated perspective. He says that he believes in a much more scientific explanation, and that is that we all have multiple versions of ourselves at one time, and they all exist in alternate realities. People who see doppelgangers, that's just the result of people, quote, suddenly gaining the ability to tap into another time phase.
I could
So
see
you're
that.
seeing the lifting of the veil.
Yeah, I like to believe that. Or like you're seeing, like if time is not linear, it's all happening simultaneously, and you could just like accidentally see yourself like earlier or later than where you are right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And with the case of Emily, okay, maybe that whole thing wasn't real, but it could have been a fictional story based on a real experience of this guy seeing one of his teachers get up, and then she's in the chair, she comes back into the room, something like that. All right. Are you ready? I have 2 famous doppelganger stories.
Yeah.
Okay. You may or may not know, but Abraham Lincoln has a well-known brush with his doppelganger.
Ooh.
The very first night he was elected to office, Lincoln wrote, quote, "Looking in that glass, I saw myself reflected nearly at full length, but my face, I noticed, had 2 separate, distinct images. The tip of the nose of one being about 3 inches from the tip of the other, so they're right next to each other. I was a little bothered, but the illusion vanished. Once lying down again, I saw it a second time, plainer if possible than before, and then I noticed that one of the faces was a little paler, say 5 shades, than the other one." He went on saying there are 2 distinct images. One was pale and sickly looking, and the other was lively, just himself. When he told Mary about it, she was like, "I know exactly what this means."
Oh, no.
She was like, "This means that you're going to survive your first term as president, and then something terrible is going to happen to you during your second term, and you're going to die."
All right.
And spoiler alert, she was right.
Did we have that from him? Like, did she actually say that, or is that a story made up later? Like, was that in his journal too?
I don't know. It could have been made up. I don't know if it was written down.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Because that's crazy.
But I would think that could be how she could have interpreted it.
Oh,
because,
definitely.
That's the lore of it, is that if you see it, then something bad is going to happen to you.
For sure.
Especially if you see your own.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Catherine the Great, Empress of Russia through the 18th century. She was awakened one night by her servants in 1796. The ladies were waking her up because they had seen who they thought was Catherine sitting silently in her throne room, but they knew that she was also in her bedroom fast asleep. So Catherine groggily rose and accompanied them back to the room, where they all witnessed Catherine's doppelganger sitting on her throne. Catherine ordered guards to shoot the doppelganger before it disappeared. And a week later, Catherine died of a stroke.
Jeez.
Scary.
Yeah, her doppelganger just wanted a little midnight snack.
Yeah,
she wanted some tea
her
and pudding
chance at the throne.
Yeah.
What better place to eat your midnight snack? Like, that doesn't make you feel bad to have a midnight snack if you're eating it on a throne.
I'll choose to take my midnight snack in my throne room tonight.
Your throne room of the yoga mat and the extra
Yeah, the yoga mat in the
next,
cat box
next
room.
To the kitty litter.
Yeah.
I love it. My sources today are Double Trouble, Doppelgängers and the Mythology of Spirit Doubles by April Holloway. That is on antiquitynow.org. The Time You're Most Likely to See Your Doppelganger by Natasha Wynarczyk on Vice.com. The Eerie Doppelganger of Émilie Sagée, Unexplained Stories by BuzzFeed, Unsolved Network, the Doppelganger Wikipedia page, the Changeling Wikipedia page, and 4 creepy doppelganger myths that will make you never want to see your double by Nina Khan on Bustle.com.
All right. That was so good, Hayley. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll be right back. We have some new and exciting things coming to Patreon.
There's so many things. I'm just going to list them off. Okay, first of all, obviously, we already talked about the cocktail party. That's old news because it is...
You already heard it.
You already heard it. But the Night Creepy field trip to Crescent Springs, the Haunted Hotel, Crescent Hotel is being revived.
It's Eureka Springs, but yes.
Eureka Springs.
Crescent Hotel.
Eureka, I barely know her.
We went there last year. It's like
Not last year.
2 years,
2 years
ago.
ago.
Jesus Christ. Like one of the most haunted places in America, and we recorded a bunch of footage and explained the ghosts and the history of the hotel, and Alec is finally editing it all together as a special Halloween Patreon special for this month. It'll be on Patreon for all tiers.
For all tiers. And if y'all don't know the history of this hotel, we will be speaking to it during the Night Creepy field trip video. But all you need to know, if you don't know already, it's basically a crazed doctor who took matters into his own hands and did some scamming. A long time ago, too, at that.
And it's haunted as fuck. And even if you don't believe in ghosts, it's like still really cool stories. And this town is neat. It's wild. It's like an old little weird Victorian town built into a hillside. It's very
so
cool.
hilly. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I thought my car wasn't gonna make it over.
Popping. Yeah, your car did great. We did great. You guys can go back literally in time and see what we looked like 2 years ago. It's wild.
It is weird. Speaking of doppelgangers, but yeah. Definitely check that out. And we were thinking about our Patreon, and we're like, we have a lot of content for our $10 tier. We got a lot of content for our $25 tier, but we don't want to leave out our $5 tier
Because we love you all.
So we decided to record a little extra something every week after we record, just a little sound bite. It's called Extra Credit.
And you don't have to do anything extra for it. But we're giving you a little extra nugget of something that we learned that week. We're going to discuss it, prep something each week. It's not going to be like a full notes thing, but it's going to be a little extra blurb, something just to let you know how much we love you and hopefully help you learn something new too.
Yeah, just a little fun fact you can show your friends.
Tell it to your friends.
Tell it to your friends, and you can find all of that and more at patreon.com/nightclassy.
And wait, we missed one thing.
We did?
We did. So once you join us on Patreon, you will be, I'm sure, delighted to find out that we will not only be releasing our usual schedule of trivia and list bitch for the month of November, but there will be 2 trivia games, and there will be 2 episodes of List Bitch. I think one of my favorite things we do is trivia.
Me too.
It is so challenging for us sometimes, and it gets competitive.
Very competitive. And if you want to play along this coming month, you can, because we're going to put the questions in the notes so you can play along, and there'll be multiple choice.
I'm sure you all will do better than us. So keep score. Let us know which ones you got right and which ones you also don't remember.
Yes. And we will see you there on Patreon.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey.
Are you ready for my spooky Halloween lesson?
Yeah, I am. Is it actually spooky?
It's more like mysterious.
Ooh, okay, like a little mystery.
Yeah, a little mystery. A little like, you don't want to go to bed right after hearing about doppelgangers, because that's really scary.
No, and you don't want to look in mirrors either.
No. Yeah, I whenever I go to the bathroom in the night, I don't turn on the bathroom light because I don't want to look in the mirror by accident.
Never.
Yeah.
And then it's like if somebody's in the bathroom and they're standing behind you, you also don't want to see that. Like, I'd rather them just shank me. Just shank me.
Yeah, just shank me. Do you ever like wash your hands, but like you like just look like away so you don't like look up at the mirror?
Well, here's the thing. I don't wash my hands after I use the bathroom in the night.
What?
No, it wakes me up. And I never use the bathroom in the night anyway, but if I do, I'm not washing my hands. If I'm just going pee, no.
Gross. Okay, moving on from
Gonna have to
that.
edit that out.
I think that's probably
You just go to bed and put
a
your dirty
common thing.
bathroom hands all over Tommy and your clean bed.
It's not like my hands, I'm like putting them all in my privates and my butthole. Like they're just
you're putting
touching
them
the
very
toilet paper.
close.
I feel like I'm clean enough to constitute not washing my hands when I never use the bathroom in the night.
I feel embarrassed for you that this is
I don't.
being broadcasted to the
I don't do
world.
that. I pee in the shower. You know what?
I pee in the
Sue
shower.
me.
I'll
What?
admit that.
Well,
You
your
pee in the
is
shower?
literally going on your feet
Sometimes.
then.
I fucking take baths in there.
Usually no, but I have.
Yeah, but the thing is that I never have to go pee in the night. So it's not a thing that happens. It's like if I'm sick, then sometimes I will have to. But
Okay.
no, I don't do that.
All right.
Listeners, chime in. Are you Team Kat or Team Hayley?
We're all gross in our own way. Moving on. So, right.
Speak for yourselves.
You definitely do a gross thing. What do you do?
I don't piss in the shower is what I'm trying to say.
You've never peed in the shower?
He's like, no,
As
but
Look
a-
at him thinking about it. He has.
As a 3-year-old?
No, as an adult, you've never peed in the shower, not even when you're really hungover.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's crazy.
You've never have either?
No, I have.
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
it's crazy
Yeah.
that he hasn't.
It's weird.
You're
Maybe
like
it's a girl thing. I don't know.
It seems like it would be a total guy thing, though. Like,
That's
that's a
true.
total guy move.
I think there was like a Reddit post about someone's boyfriend pooping in the shower and like shoving it down the drain with their heel.
Oh, gross.
Good old waffle style.
And they like wouldn't stop. Yeah.
Alex like, I do that.
Yeah. What? That's weird now?
The thing about peeing in the shower is that it gets all mixed in with the water. With the
Yeah.
poo, it goes right down.
And peeing in the shower, you're saving water. You don't have to flush.
It wastes what, like 3 gallons when you flush the toilet?
Ridiculous. And I'm an environmentalist myself.
Yeah, and I save water by not washing my hands in the night.
Fair enough.
For number 2, I do.
Saving
Let that
the
be
earth.
clear.
All right, let's finally get started here. So, right after World War I, Isidore Fink immigrated from Poland to New York City. New York, New York. He worked hard for years before finally having the money to buy a horse. Just kidding. Before opening a modest laundry service on the bottom floor of an apartment building in Harlem.
More expensive than a horse.
Probably. We don't know that for sure.
I would assume it is.
Maybe these days. So crime in that part of the city had been on the rise for a while, and Isidore was intensely paranoid of a robbery. He worked so hard to build this business, and he was really scared that it could just be stripped away from him by getting mugged, essentially. This made him obsessive about locking all doors and all windows at all times and only opening them for trusted customers, especially at night, because a lot of times he was working late into the night, like even at midnight.
Yeah.
So he kept everything locked tight.
His customers have to knock on the door, and he like opens the mail slot, and it's just his lips like peeking through. He's like, "Hello."
The mail slot is like talking, opening and shutting as if it's his mouth.
I love it. He has like a string attached that he does, opens and shuts it to give it.
It's like a little puppet.
It's a part of the gig.
Because of his weird thing with the mail slot, he didn't have a lot of friends. He mostly kept to himself. He did have a wife and kids, but you know,
Doesn't
like,
count for friends.
And he was like friendly with his neighbors, but they didn't like know a whole lot about him. One night, though, a neighbor named Mrs. Lachlan Smith, who lived in a flat behind the laundry, heard what sounded like a fight coming from Fink's shop. She heard a series of thuds followed by a short scream. She's terrified. She immediately calls the police, and they show up pretty much right away, only a few minutes later. Patrolman Albert Kattenborn answered the call, and he knocks a few times on Fink's door. There's no answer. But right now they're thinking, like, whoever he was fighting with is probably still inside, right? Because they showed up so fast.
So fast, so quick.
So fast, so quick. He tries the door. The door is locked from the inside. He goes around to the other door, finds that one locked from the inside as well. So he's like, well, shit. Starts looking at the windows, but all the windows are nailed shut, and most of them also have bars over them. Because, you know, it's a rough part of town. He was trying to lock everything up. There appeared to be absolutely no way in. The only window that wasn't locked is the small transom window above the door. And if you don't know what the transom window is, I don't know if you've ever seen an old house. You know what they are because we had them in the Rembert house. But a lot of times houses that were built like at the turn of the 20th century, so late 1800s, early 1900s, they'd have a very small rectangular window above a door that could be kind of propped open for ventilation. Not big enough really for a person to fit through because they don't open completely all the way. They just kind of get cracked. And the officer saw this window as the only possible way in. It was the only window that opened, but it was so small, there's no way that an adult person could fit through. Definitely not him, because he was a tall guy. So what do you do when an adult person won't fit into the crime scene?
You send a baby.
Yeah, you look
A
around.
changeling.
You look around the street until you find a small child to shove into the crime scene.
Somebody has to do the job of public service.
Yeah, I mean, child labor was chill back then. This kid was probably coming home from his factory job. Like, why not do some police work as well?
Yeah, I could use a workout. I've been real stressed.
Yeah, so he lifts this kid up, shoves the kid through the window. I assume he falls pretty far because it's like above a door. And he goes in and unlocks the door for the police. Kattenborn enters and he finds the dead body of Fink toward the back of the laundry. The clothes iron was still heating on the stove.
The back of the laundry?
The laundry, like the shop.
Oh, the laundromat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a massive pile of laundry and he's just like shoved behind it.
No, but I didn't really know what to call it because I don't think it's a laundromat. I think it's like, I mean, kind of in a way, but people drop their laundry off and then he washes it and irons it. Yeah, the laundry store. The iron is still on the stove, indicating he was working right up until his time of death. It was like unexpected. And Fink's body had 3 gunshot wounds. 2 in the chest and 1 through the palm of his left hand.
Oh, no.
Kattenborn, the first thing he did was look around for a gun. He's like, the murder weapon has to be in here somewhere, but he couldn't find it. And once homicide detectives got to the scene, they agreed that there should be a gun there because there was no time for anyone to exit the apartment. And even if there was no way for them to get out.
They couldn't have locked the door behind them?
No, because it was locked from the inside. It was like, I think a chain lock or a deadbolt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the way the locks were, according to all the reports, it had to be locked from the inside. So they figured it was probably a suicide, but then it's weird. There's no gun. So they're like, maybe he did a weirdly elaborate job of this and somehow like used a device to catapult the gun away from him after it went off, but that like makes no sense. But they still tore the room apart, ripped up the floorboards, looked around, no gun. It was nowhere to be seen. And like we've been saying over and over again, this is incredibly puzzling because both the doors were locked from the inside and all the windows were nailed and or barred shut. So how could the murderer not be in the apartment, and where was the murder weapon? Police are like, okay, well, maybe there's an exit or an entrance that we're not seeing. Like, you know, maybe...
was it on the first floor?
Yep.
Okay.
First floor. So like maybe like some kind of like ventilation pipe, you know, that someone could have crawled into. So they look around. There's nothing. They couldn't find any other way that someone could have exited. And they're puzzled.
Where are his wife and kids?
They were out of seas. They were out of town.
Oh,
yeah.
Out of
seas. They out of seas, you know, the classic out of seas. They weren't home at the time. They were traveling. I don't know where exactly they were.
Okay.
So
escaping a murder trial.
Right. So Fink's case is a real life example of something called a locked room mystery. And this is a really common plot device in detective books where a weaponless victim is found dead in a room locked from the inside. And then usually there's some kind of crazy twist of like how a murderer could have gotten in and out. But how is this possible in real life? At first, the police believed that the killer had gotten in and out through the transom window. It did have a broken hinge, which seemed to support this theory.
Sure, yeah.
However, the only way that would have been possible is if the killer was the size of a small child.
It could have been a little person.
Yeah, or a child.
Or a child.
I mean, we're putting them to work in the glue factory. Why not as hitmen?
What did Fink ever do to them?
It's also really unclear why the killer would have exited through the window and not just unlocked the door and walked out.
There could have been people out there. Surely there won't be people outside outside the window.
Right. And
Totally
surely it's
different.
like less suspicious to climb through a window. The next theory police landed on was that maybe the killer had shot Fink through the open transom window, but from the outside.
Okay. I don't know why I didn't think of that at all.
Right. It seems like a really good theory, except they examined Fink's body and found gunpowder residue and scorch marks on the palm of his hand where he was shot, meaning he was shot at really close range. They think he like tried to grab the gun when someone was pointing it at him, and that's how he got shot there.
They just have elastic arms.
Right.
They still did it through the window.
He got shot by Elastigirl.
Elastigirl, who's also maybe a traveler in the Matrix.
I mean, who knows? Maybe that's the reality we live in. So, but this disqualifies the theory of an outside shooter because he was definitely shot up close and personal. A third theory is that Fink was either shot in the hallway and managed to get inside and lock the door behind him before dying, or he was shot in the store. The killer left and he lived long enough to lock the door behind the killer.
Was there like a trail of blood or anything like that?
There wasn't.
Got mopped up.
They think maybe he was wearing enough clothes that it like was able to absorb all the blood and keep there from being anything like dripping on the floor. But there was no blood anywhere except where he was laying. That's one reason police dismissed this theory right away. The other reason is that he was shot twice through the chest, and police believed that would have killed him instantly, and he wouldn't have had time to like go back inside and lock the door. Which
but also if it didn't hit in all the right places and your adrenaline is pumping, I could see that happening.
Definitely. Me too. And there have been incidents that prove this could be possible. For example, in 1942, an Edinburgh man was shot through the front of his skull and still managed to like survive the night, make it back to the hotel, interact with the staff, and get to his room before he collapsed.
So crazy.
Yeah. So it's definitely possible. I think this is probably the strongest theory, but it's still weird. I like to believe like a very small person climbed in through that window because that's so much weirder.
They shrunk themselves down.
Yeah.
Like very, very small, the size of your thumb, and they lugged the gun in.
Yeah, the gun was like bigger than them. Oh my gosh. Or they dropped the gun through while they were big and then shrunk and then got through and then grew when they were back. It's like Alice in Wonderland.
A tale of fairy tales.
Eat me, drink me. Yes.
So that sounds like a Meg Thee Stallion song now.
Eat me, drink me. Lick me up. Some people, though, believe that simply sloppy police work is to blame.
What?
Also, maybe a solid theory. That never happens. Never. They believe maybe police even covered up the crime. Like maybe they were bribed by the killer and so agreed to say like, oh yeah, there's no way he could have gotten out, so like let's just not even investigate it. And that could be to blame for some of the more mysterious components of the crime, or maybe even like in all the hustle and bustle the killer like managed to slip out somehow. I don't know. Maybe the doors weren't really locked from the inside. Maybe there was a way out besides the transom window that we missed.
Yeah, maybe you just had one of those doors that it's like you have to jiggle it a certain way to get it to work.
Yeah. Or like one of the windows like wasn't real. I don't know. It could be 1,000 different things. The records are really bad. Like even in the stuff I was reading, there was some conflicting information and I kind of had to like pick and choose who I was gonna believe. So it's definitely possible that like the investigation was just botched. What none of these theories explain, though, is who committed the murder and why. When police searched the shop, nothing was taken. Fink had several dollars in his pocket that were just left there, and the cash register was full of money and untouched. So it was not a robbery. And some people speculate that like maybe he had a business disagreement with someone because he was a business owner. But I've been watching The Sopranos, and when you kill someone over a business disagreement, you take their money too. You get what's yours.
You finish it off.
And they didn't do that.
Yeah, and I was thinking, that was my exact thought of what if he got involved with the mafia or something.
Maybe. Did the mafia exist back then? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, girl, I don't know. All I know is the 90s mafia.
You're a new age
I
mafia
am.
fan.
Fair weather fan only. I need the Juicy Couture sweatsuits or nothing.
Yeah, but in Sopranos, they're all wearing like
Fila sweatsuits.
Fila, yeah.
That too, yeah. So I don't know. That was weird to me. And then Fink also didn't have any enemies, at least not known ones. He just kind of kept his head low. He never offended anyone. There were some weird reports that there were 2 well-dressed women seen in the hallway the night of the murder. And I think this was a rough neighborhood, so that's kind of like a little strange. They seemed out of place, so people reported it to the police. And like we said...
That's insane.
And like we said earlier, I think it was also an apartment building where everyone kind of knew their neighbors. Like, these people stuck out for some reason. It definitely wasn't Fink's wife or daughter because, like we said earlier, they were... out of seas or whatever I said. And Fink's landlord told police that he doesn't know who these women were, but he really doubted they were here to see Fink because Fink doesn't have any female friends. So
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, he seems...
Well, maybe he would. Maybe it's like he hired some sex workers.
maybe, but it doesn't sound like he was that kind of guy. I think he was just kind of like... honest.
No, you don't know people.
That's true. It's always the ones you least
Yeah.
suspect. It's definitely a little odd, but nothing ever came of this. They never identified who these women were, no further information. A friend of Fink's reported that there had been a couple of customers in the shop around 9:45 p.m. that night, so like 15 minutes or so before the murder, but police were unable to locate them for questioning. They also didn't see any fingerprints in the apartment. So without a motive, murder weapon, any suspects, or even any evidence or clear timeline of events, the case remains unsolved. 2 years later, in 1931, the NYPD commissioner, Edward P. Mulrooney, went as far as to call Fink's case an, quote, insoluble mystery.
Ooh.
And so it remains. And that is the mysterious locked door murder of Isidore Fink.
That is so creepy. I love it when elements of fictional stories are like in real life.
Yeah.
Art mimics life, life mimics art.
Me too. And like we have like a couple like red herrings of I don't know, the 2
Like
ladies.
it could be this,
yeah.
it could be some of that, it could be Elastigirl. We'll never know.
You never know. It could be anyone.
Well, now I still don't want to go to sleep after that story.
It is a little creepy because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, what if the takeaway was like, all right, I am not locking my doors.
I am double and triple locking my doors, but they also lock from the outside.
Yeah, my doors do both. So
They're multi-talented.
fancy.
My sources are Solving the Locked Room Mystery by C.C. Brooks on discover.hubpages.com, 1929 Harlem, NewYorkTimes.com, and Isidore Fink's Mysterious Death, Unsolved Locked Room Mystery Murder by Neo-Natsu on Medium.com.
That was weird.
Neo-Natsu's an
I know,
unfortunate
that is a
name.
very unfortunate name. I thought about that too. Yeah, not great. Yeah.
Some names are worth changing.
It's Neo, like Neo, and then Natsu, Natsu.
Yeah,
that's rough.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it is rough. In any case, that was my lesson, and we're about to jump into our extra credits. So if you want to hear us continue this conversation a little bit, you can find that on patreon.com/nightclassy. But as always, thank you guys for being here. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. Tell your friends. We love you. Thank you. And 3, 2, 1. Class dismissed. I like you never played the music. That felt weird. Doing it without music.
The outro?
Yeah.
I've never played the
Never.
music, not
Really?
once.
Oh,
That's
I thought we
weird.
did.
It's your doppelganger. You've listened to the show.
Oh shit, that's scary.
Yeah.
You've listened to the show and you're trying to sound authentic.
Uh-oh. I'm a changeling.
The doppelgangers who bought Duke.
Yeah, we can blame it on her.
No, I bet it's that we're about to do the extra credit, so you were somehow thinking
It was the
past.
start. I think I was thinking this is the start of a new segment, so there should be music. I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I'm not a changeling, I promise.
She's a changeling.
I'm like evil laughing.
The laugh proved it.